Ray, this is another question. Well, for all of you, really. Were any of the cast members that are here tonight considered for any parts other than the ones that they're playing?
What do you mean? Like on the show?
No, at home. I mean, for instance, like, did you ever think maybe Jorge would play Kate?
Yeah, a lot of them Yunjin read for Kate, and we loved her, and we were looking at her resume, and there were all these, it turned out that she was a huge movie star in Korea, of sort of, Titanic proportions, and we got into a conversation with her, and she spoke fluent Korean, and we said, thanks for coming in, and as soon as she left, we said we have to have her on the show, and the idea for her character was born out of that read. Sun did not exist in the script or the outline or sort of in any incarnation until she came in, and then as a result, we were like, she should be, married to this guy, and she should be keeping the secret from him, which is that she has secretly learned English and was going to leave him before the plane crashed, and that created a part for Daniel. And Jorge, JJ had seen on an episode of April Webster, I think, our casting director, who's sitting here in the front row and deserves a big round of applause. Had seen an episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm, and JJ said, that guy's got to be on our show, and who's he going to be? He's like, oh, we'll just have him come in and read anything. So he read Sawyer's Sides.
Yeah.
And when he passed on the part, we were.
I didn't want to take my shirt off.
we wrote something funny for him, and he did it. And I'm trying to think. Did Matthew? Did you read for Sawyer too?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. I read for Sawyer as well.
Did we stop you in the middle of it? I was like, well, you shouldn't even. This is not.
No, yeah, you did, and you were like, I think you're Jack, and I said, well, that's great. I have no idea who Jack is because I hadn't read the script. And it literally took me into somebody's office there and handed me a script, and I proceeded to read the script, and you kept running in every 20 minutes like, what do you think? What do you think? Finish it.
I was nervous.
Are you influenced by outside theories? Everyone has I've had like 8 theories that I believe strongly were right. And every time I tell them to any of you guys, you go, oh yeah, that's cute, but no, that's not what it is. And you'll say, you really want me to tell you? And whenever you say you really want me to tell you, not that I believe you actually would, but I always say, no, I don't think I want to know. For instance, if we offered, if we said tonight, these guys said, we're going to tell you exactly what's going on the island, would you want to know?
Okay, here's what it is.
No self-control.
But it's a weird thing. People, they'll ask, what's the thing? And you go, well, there's a thing. Don't tell me. That is a strange phenomenon of people asking you not to tell them.
Now that is truly the way it always happens. I mean, people will start to want to know. But really, I think the mystery, if you had the mystery unfolded for you, it would be a lot less interesting to watch the show.
All right. Here's a question. This is for JJ. How have your past experiences on Alias and Felicity informed your decisions on Lost, both in the storytelling and with the publicity and fans surrounding Lost?
What was the last part?
I don't know. Just stick with the first part.
What's the first part?
The first part was...
No, I'm kidding.
How have your experiences on Alias and Felicity informed your decisions on Lost? This was written when we thought you still worked on the show.
I'm trying to remember what it was like. Oh yeah, the island. Sorry. No, the reality is that like I said, Damon and Carlton and the rest of the writers have been, running the show essentially from the, early in the first season. So the answer to that question, the first part, because I don't even know what the second part of the question was, is basically that, anything you do, I would hope, informs the next thing you do. And so I felt like, one of the things about Lost from the beginning that was so exciting to me was when I met Damon. I had never met Damon until I got a phone call from the head of ABC saying, I want to do a show about people who survived a plane crash. And I kept hearing Damon's name in my dreams. And so we called him in, and he came in, and it was like we'd known each other for a long time. And we both loved, the Twilight Zone, and we loved Star Wars. We had all these sort of similar references and passions and
Geek passions.
deep physical passions. And
Yearning passion.
yeah, that's right. And as it went on, my experiences on Felicity, which you think, well, how would that at all affect, anything you do on Lost? They're so different. But the truth is, and these actors, as Damon said, in many ways informed who the characters were going to be. We realized that as good as the premise was going to be, and as cool as the plane crash was, and as weird as the island might be, it was the people that would make the show work. And so, as crazy as Alias was, and as crazy as it got, and as simple in many ways as Felicity was, the only moments and scenes and episodes that really worked on those shows were the ones where you really believed and felt who these people were. And so, Damon and I, all of us, are grateful that these actors came in because they really helped develop and create the show with us. And, so the answer is that anytime a character works, that's the thing you go to. So the premise was good, the premise was strong, but I think really it was the characters that from my experience at least, on Felicity and Alias, that I realized was, were the crucial elements to making any kind of story work.
The acting really is great on the show. I mean, it
is good. Very good.
All the way around. It is fantastic, and I think people get caught up in the story so much that maybe they forget that sometimes. Now, as far as the others, a lot of you came in, it's weird to see you all sitting next to each other, getting along.
These things is the only time I actually see Michael.
But when you come into the show, first of all, on a personal level, you're joining a show where this is a very tight cast, and people are good friends, and coming into a situation like that has to be a little bit like being the new kid in school. But had you guys seen the show? Is this like something that you wanted to be a part of, or were you sought out for the program?
Ours was a Lost household, and so we were excited. But I wasn't overly nervous about the job because it was just to have been a guest appearance originally. So, it was a great job, but it was another job, and it didn't hold out the promise of what.
See, that's why I think none of you know what the hell's going on this show, because he's the center of the whole thing now, the evil, and it was just a guest appearance. You guys, oh yeah, he's really good. We should keep going with this part.